I remember an incident when I was about 11 or 12 years old. This gentleman comes to our school with a very fancy gadget. So it has like this whole geometry box in one uh, toy kind of a setup. So it has the compass and everything, the scale, the compass, the D, the protractor, whatever you call it, everything in one set, and very stylish, very. All the kids were very excited to see how it works. And then he gave us a demonstration during the school hours, and we very carefully watched it. And then he said that if you want to purchase this box, you can come to the playground in the evening and purchase it. So, all the kids were quite excited to buy this stuff because he presented it in a wonderful way. And then I went home and I spoke to my father and I said that I want this toy. So my father said, okay, we'll go to school at 4 o'clock and then you can buy it. So we went. Now there was a huge line for the geometry box and it was all chaos. All the kids were jumping on that poor man and he was having a hard time, uh, trying to collect money from them and, give them back the change. And I was observing this from a distance. So I told my dad, I said, let's wait. I said, let this whole chaos finish and then we'll go. So my dad said, but by that time, the toy, the number of the inventory may finish. I said, no problem. We'll wait and see. And I kept watching that scene, that whole picture, where the children were jumping onto that man and how frustrated that man was. And eventually, when everybody left, then I went to that man with my father. And of course, he said that there are no toys left now, so they've all been sold. But I didn't feel disappointed. In fact, that whole urge to acquire the object, the toy, had actually dissolved. So at that moment, a seeing happened in which everything was being witnessed. The children shouting, making ruckus, and some trying to steal the toy as well, and the man trying to, manage the money and take care of his inventory as well. And also my feelings at that time. Initially, there was this nervousness that I want the toy. But slowly, as this picture deepened, as this vision widened, the feeling dissolved and disappeared. So, automatically, there was a sense of detachment with the object, which initially was very strong. I mean, of course, I did feel a bit disappointed that I could not get the toy, but that disappointment was not so great. It was clearly accepted. Somehow, it was expected that this would happen. There was a knowing there that I won't get the toy. And of course, it produced disappointment, but even that was expected and accepted. So when your vision is total, when the perception is direct, undistorted, unfiltered, in that seeing, every outcome is accepted. And that itself frees the mind. because that vision is not attached to the outcome. That vision is not from the limited lens of the mind. That vision is where the mind shines. So even mind is an object illuminated in that vision. I don't know if I'm making sense. But that vision is the total vision. When I say vision, I don't just imply seeing the vision with the eyes. It is total focus, total attention. It is not focused on any particular point. It is not engaging any one particular sense. All the senses are, no sense is heightened, but all the senses are in their uh, normal capacity and relaxed. Yes, that is the word I can use. All the senses are relaxed. No one sense is heightened as such. So there is a natural state of calm. In that, every outcome is accepted. But usually, what happens is that we always operate from this limited perception, which is the mind, where we are completely identified with a measure, where we say that right now I am restless and I want to do meditation or practice to become calm. Now, of course, the practice of meditation itself is a good activity and it has its benefits. But that is not what meditation is limited to. Meditation is not an activity of the mind. Meditation is the total vision. It is the total seeing. In meditation, there is no meditator. Till there is a meditator who keeps the eyes closed, focuses on the breath, the meditation is not happening. When the meditation happens, the meditation alone is, then there is no meditator. So someone asked me how to do meditation. And the answer is that meditation is not done. Meditation happens. It happens through the flow of life. As you are listening to my words, the meditation is happening. If you are totally attentive, if your vision is total, and your analytical mind is quiet, then you are listening, you are fully listening to what I'm saying. And that is meditation. Of course, after this, you can critically examine it and see, what you feel is right and what is wrong. But in this flow, your vision is total, you are listening, you are not analyzing, you are feeling. Because feeling is more real. You're feeling everything, the acceptance, non acceptance, the resistance to an idea. Everything is being felt and nothing is being rejected. That is meditation. When Ramana Maharishi says, just be, that is meditation. Because he never gives us a way to be. To give a way to be, to give a method to be, is to be this or that. Simply be. Simply be and see. The thing is that meditation and mindfulness, these things have been made into practices and they have been commodified in such a way, by giving the promises of improvement to the person. But the whole purpose of meditation was to inquire into the nature of person. What is this person? Who am I? In that context, even self-inquiry is a meditation. There is no way to do self-inquiry. You simply inquire. Whatever is happening, is it happening to a person or is it just happening? Now, before you say it is happening to a person or it is not happening to a person, before that, examine it. Because if you jump to abrupt conclusions without having experienced this properly, then you're likely to get swayed in different concepts and different things. But when there is total vision, there will be clarity. In total seeing, everything is accepted the way it is. So there is no resistance over there. Even if the resistance appears as a sensation, even that is acknowledged, fully acknowledged and accepted. It does not mean you have to agree with things. It means that even if you disagree with things and want to take an appropriate action, that is also acceptable. You act, but you don't worry about the outcome. It is not about invalidating one's feeling. It is not about suppressing one's feeling. It is simply acknowledgement and acceptance. And this thing I have mentioned in my book, meditation is not about emptying your mind. It is not about blocking your thoughts. Thoughts, thinking cannot be blocked. Any attempt to block thinking, to suppress it, repress it, is going to make the mind more and more agitated. In fact, Jiddu Krishnamurti was quite critical of this process of forced sitting and forcing oneself to be silent. That is not silence. What you experience in the practice of meditation, when you sit with your eyes closed and focus on your breath or mantra or whatever object, that is just a temporary state. That is a temporary silence. That is not the true silence that Jiddu Krishnamurti talks about. The true silence never disappears. The recognition of silence happens in the sound, in the chaos. The recognition of truth happens in the world, in the objectivity. It is what everything is made up of. But you see, we have propagated these ideas that we have to meditate more and more. And the more we meditate, the more we force ourselves to sit in cross-legged postures and forcefully try to quieten the mind. That J. Krishnamurti called as violence towards oneself. He said that it dulls the mind, and I agree with him. It does dull the mind. Now, there is a meditation called Vipasana, which is a beautiful practice, but it is grossly misunderstood by most people. In Vipasana, you focus on the movement of breath. And the meditation of Vipasana is based on insight. That insight is not a personal insight. So, when the movement of breath happens, and there are, of course, when you're doing meditation, you will experience thoughts, disturbing thoughts as well. So the rhythm of your breath changes, and there is something that witnesses this change. That is not the person. That is not the mind which witnesses the change. That is the impersonal awareness. So, the whole movement of watching the breath change because of certain arisings, certain feelings, certain sensations, certain memories, certain emotions of the past, or certain anticipation of the future, whatever arises during that process is witnessed. And the mind becomes subtler and subtler and subtler, and slowly there is a release. Whatever is trapped within in the deep trenches of the mind, it releases. But it is not that the person does this. In witnessing, the change in the rhythm of the breath is detected, the change in the bodily functions is detected. For example, heartbeat, the change in the heartbeat is also detected, not by you, but by the impersonal awareness, by the unaffected witness. And that is where change happens. Any attempt by you to modify your breath is going to create trouble for you. And that is where I do not believe in the conventional methods where we are told to meditate for so many hours, where we force ourselves to sit in one particular posture, eat one particular kind of food, and then try to calm our mind. Those are all artificial measures. That is just a trick to manipulate the mind. And the mind is very clever. It knows all your manipulation tactics. It knows all the type of control you are exercising on it. Therefore, meditation is not something you do. You cannot do meditation. Meditation is a happening. It is happening right now as we speak. Buddha discovered the power of insight, and his insight was beautiful. It was not based on asceticism, or it was also not based on extravagant living. It was based on the middle path. So, subjecting oneself to physical and psychological tortures is not meditation. Integrate with life, embrace life, and let the meditation happen through your relationship with life, through your relationship with people, through your relationship with yourself. When you get to know yourself more and more, your relationship with other people also begins to change. And that is where the true integration happens. That is where the true insight comes about. Now, as practices, all meditation practices are beautiful and they are going to benefit you in some way. But the benefits of the person, the limited entity, are also limited. The benefits of the illusion are itself illusory. So, see the total vision. Allow yourself to relax and see it completely. At some point, the watching, which is observation, becomes watchfulness, which is witnessing, which is not an activity of the mind, which is not done by the mind. It is the impersonal awareness of what is happening, of what is arising.